If there are any among this people who should ever apostatize, prepare your backs for a good whipping. One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Let's see if I'll be allowed to make a video this morning. Last night I was cyber attacked directly from YouTube, not through Google, as is typically the case. So yeah, directly on YouTube. They were not wanting to process videos, as I had to put up the corrected picture. Crap. I hate it when I do a full long video, have it uploaded, it finally gets processed, as YouTube was not wanting to process it. But then find out as I'm reviewing it that I put the wrong information. The math was wrong. But in identifying the error, I then recognize the correction. So 2 9s, 2 10s. And so that fits better. But nonetheless, nobody cared. Dear God. I guess we should start with Amos 3:7. Because Mormons don't know their scriptures, neither do Christians. Even though this was a scripture mastery. I guess the church doesn't do scripture mastery. They don't force you to memorize anything anymore, because that leads to apostasy. Surely the Lord God will do nothing save, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. It's mistranslated. You don't need to care about it. You can fully understand, especially in the context of verse 8. The lion hath roared, who will not fear? The Lord hath spoken, who can but prophesy? So, even though that's talking about the 21st of August, 2017, because Jesus has to use parables because you're stupid. That's what he said. Prophecy and revelation. He was giving you prophecy and revelation in Amos 3, chapters 7 and 8. But nonetheless, a basic understanding is that lions are dangerous. When they roar, that means you need to fear. They're giving the warning voice that danger is near. And so, bullies are these lions who threaten people, who steal the money and threaten to hurt them and take away their life, liberty, and property. That's a bully. Constitution guarantees equality for everyone across the board for life, liberty, and property. But when bullies attack our Constitution, they take away our rights, or the rights of some and not others, of life, liberty, and property. Real basic stuff. So, there was a YouTube recommended video, and let's see how well you can identify it as misinformation. So, already revealed to you it's misinformation. Now, the tricky part for you is to see how well you can identify misinformation. thumbnail picture has a picture of a cartoon Nostradamus and a quote, "In July 2024, there will be ... question mark." The title of the video is "You Won't Believe What Nostradamus Predicted for ... I'm assuming it's July 2024. And it's 27 minutes, 51 seconds. So I'm sure he's going to promote something to sell. That would make it clickbait. But we don't know. I didn't click on it. So the channel is named Jesus Eternal Light. And YouTube has checked it. Okay, so where's the misinformation? No, it's not Nostradamus is a witch. No, it's not that there are no such thing as prophecy and revelation. Come on. It's the channel name Jesus mixed with a Jew, Nostradamus. That's where the misinformation is. Now, ABC4 News Utah. Can you guess the misinformation? A lot of people here were blessed, quote unquote. So Melchizedek priesthood holders came and laid their hands on people. That's a blessing. Giving you clues. 2 injured after plane crashes into Roy front ... It looks like the front yard of a house. Really? 2 people are injured and you call that being blessed? The yard is destroyed and you call that being blessed? God. Talk about your faith bubbles. No, this is not a blessing. This is a tragedy. This is a plane accident. Assuming that he did nothing wrong. Is it the FCC? Will have to investigate to make sure that it was not his fault, that it was an actual accident. You know, like an updraft or a downdraft or birds or whatever. Not glug glug glug, or playing around, or violating airspace rules. See, this is a problem of Mormonism, and it's carryover from Christianity of converts who convinced Mormons that they're Christian. You were infiltrated by Christianity and destroyed. Good job, Mormons. But no, it's a blaming of God for everything that happens in our life, rather than taking responsibility for our own actions. We know the scripture, or at least you did if you memorized scriptures, because that was a scripture mastery too. Adam, let's see, men will be punished for their own sins and not Adam's transgressions. There are consequences. We have to choose the right to produce the right outcome. Because if we choose the wrong, then we are taking away the agency of life, liberty, and property. That's Lucifer's happiness. Bullying. And so, no, you don't use religion and blame God for a situation that occurred on earth, because mankind is the cause. Nature is the cause, unless you believe Mother Nature is real. And so, speculation is a form of bullying in which you are not using knowledge. You are not going through the scriptural, yes, not just Book of Mormon, but Bible too, process of taking the Word and producing the results of the Word to find out the truth of the Word. You can't know the truth of the Word unless you implement it. And so, yes, you have to have faith in the Word, but you have to produce the results of the Word so that you can judge the Word as being true or false. You're not finished with just faith in the seed. You gotta produce the fruit. Thus, faith without works is dead. Seed without fruit is dead. Works being the completion, the fulfillment. And so, Kenny Carneal, on my video, Living on Borrowed Light, Causes Mormon Faith Crisis. Kenny reveals he's living on borrowed light and trying to convince me, and he thinks that his video is, or his comment is being shown to everybody who comes to my video, his borrowed light, and enforcing it on others. I think, I don't care what you think. Give me knowledge and facts. Give me evidence. Don't give me think. See, because the error that I made in the one video yesterday, yeah, that's a factual error. It's not based on people's opinion. I made a math error. And so people can judge me. But just for the math error. You can't say that, oh, because I had a math error, that therefore I'm wrong about the church. The church is true because Travis had a math error. No. You gotta stick to the seed. You can't go beyond the seed. You can't say that a seed produced an apple, therefore it's an orange. Or that the orange is not true. You gotta stick with the word and only stick with the word. And bullies, especially apologists, love to go off on tangents to other words to divert away from discussing the word that you're supposed to be discussing. And so, yeah, he continues on, in case you care. I'm not going to go into it. He's speculating, and he's going off the deep end. He says, I think Joseph Smith may have had a vision. It's called the first vision. It's called the second vision. It's called the vision in the Kirtland Temple. I mean, come on. Because God will need a church here when we leave. That concerns me. That's why I didn't allow that one. Dear God. We are going to be gone soon. He's talking about rapture. In case you didn't know. so many crazy nutcases when you don't produce the results of the word. When you speculate, you go off the deep end. That's what Chad Daybell did. He didn't stick with the word. He had his feelings that the church told him to have for the word, and they were in violation of the feelings that he was supposed to get for the word. And so he assumed that the prophets therefore are wrong, and he is right, because his feelings need to be validated. Which I had somebody else use that claim, as he's bearing testimony of his feelings that need to be validated. Get the hell off my channel. So we have Kenneth, who's a puppet zombie bully. No, the guy wants to be vice president. It's talking about Vance. How does Biden quitting impact Book of Mormon Latter-day Prophecies? And this is what he wants to talk about. God. Branscombe. Yeah, Kenneth Branscombe. Weird. Okay. Whatever. That's your name. No, the guy wants to be vice president because it means Mormons will control USA. No, you cannot speculate. Stick with the facts. Billionaires came to Trump and paid Trump. And Trump chose their choice, Vance. That's how Trump's done it. He's always done it. After Hillary conceded in 2016, you now have Axis powers around the world calling up Trump, coming to the Trump Towers, and making business deals with him in advance of January 20th. That's where we get the whole Trump touching the orb thing. Wasn't that it? Or was that when he was president? I think that was when he was president. God. Nobody wants to be concerned about that? Oh yeah, that was from the other day. Tim Rathbone used a German profanity. Therefore, YouTube couldn't figure out what it meant, and so they let it go. On original 10 Commandments. And there's Idaho Chick. How you doing? Where are you? Yeah, here's one from the other day also. What it means to be Mormon. A lot of thumbs down on that one. Mormons are not wanting to own it. You gotta own it, Mormons. That's who you are. You can't deny it to me. I was born and raised in the church, in the covenant. Both parents in the covenant. They had a library of church books. And so you cannot fool me. I studied. I researched. And you can't claim that that leads to apostasy because you're using bullying 101. And so, Dallin, the LDS Church is a cult, plain and simple. After making that realization, everything made sense and I left. No, it's not a cult. First of all, they've turned Joseph Smith into literal history. The visionary accounts. By turning the visionary accounts into literal history, they are now claiming that Joseph Smith's church is a cult. Speaking with the dead, rocks in a hat to get visions, like a crystal ball. The church, by claiming that Joseph Smith literally did those things, is claiming that Joseph Smith is a witch. So is it a vision or was it literal history? prophets say literal history. Are you going to go against the prophets? There we go. This is what I was looking for. Alright, so the oldest one was what it means to be Mormon. And so Robert Einbach is going to show me what it means to be Mormon. And he's a legitimate guy, I'm assuming. He's got a picture of a man. He's not afraid to hide his identity. And here he is. He's using bullying tactic 101. Some people leave the church and then they can't leave it alone. That's Mormon bullying 101. I have no idea who started it, whether it was from the pulpit of conference, which could have been. I think I am recalling in my mind right now associative memory visions of maybe a 70, but could have been a prophet too, saying that, you know, those who leave the church can't leave us alone. And it's referring to the Doctrine and Covenants passage, kicking against the pricks. I'm kicking the pricks. But it's a twisting of that. See, because Brigham Young is the one who kicked against Joseph Smith. Brigham Young is the apostate who betrayed Joseph, had him murdered, stole his church, turned it Christian, fled the country, and fooled everyone to this day. And yet, Brigham Young's church are the ones who are using this bullying tactic on those who learn the truth and leave. Bullying 101. Gotta feel sorry for Travis Wayne. It's just Travis, you dumbass. And you can call me Mr. Goodsoul. But I'm not gonna listen. You've been banned. Okay. Yeah, we had another guy who, on what it means to be Mormon, do a copy and paste of his comment. Once to me directly and once to another guy. That's a naughty no-no. Because when you make comments on my channel to others who have commented, you are trying to bypass me. Because if I didn't hold all comments for review, I would never see that comment. People are able on YouTube to have a chat group on someone else's channel and thus talk about other things, bully the original commenter, etc., etc., etc. That's why I have to hold all comments for review. No bullying allowed on my channel. And so, it's a Polynesian name or a Southeast Asian name or a South Asian name. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It's got Pushnam there at the end, so it may be Thailand or something like that. But regardless of whether it's the Philippines or Thailand or wherever, I'm not going to worry about it. So he uses bullying tactic 101 called denialism. The church is not a cult. which he replied also to Dallin. And that's where he's getting it from. You can't use speculation or opinion or feelings, because it takes you off into forbidden paths of darkness to the great and spacious building if you don't drown in the filthy waters or get lost in the midst of darkness. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Remember, the Word is the iron rod. It's the only thing that gets you to the tree of life. But you gotta take the seed of the Word and produce the fruit of the tree of life. If you don't, you're on the wrong path. Real simple doctrine. And so here he is on the forbidden paths, mocking and laughing from the great and spacious building to me, who's partaken of the fruit, trying to get you guys to come to me at the tree of life to partake of the fruit. Did you miss that video of mine? It has to do with the Book of Mormon. The original 1830, Lehi, in his vision account, says, "Come unto me." In our version in 1981, it adds that you may partake of the fruit. This is a big difference. The first one helps you understand the symbolism of the tree of life. Second one diverts you away from it. And so he continues, Christians during the time of Christ. He's again a denialist of the first creed of Christianity in 325 CE, the Nicene Creed of Roman Emperor Constantine. That first creed turned the Jewish prophecies and revelations into literal history. And now all of a sudden, anachronism makes Jesus real during the Roman period time. That's what he's done there. Just like with the Nostradamus Christian. Calling himself Jesus. This is what Christians will not acknowledge. Next year is the 1700th anniversary of the Creed of Nicaea. And I'm not hearing any Christian, nothing from the Pope, about holding celebrations. The founding of Christianity is next year. We've got a whole year of celebration. And oh no, a pandemic that causes us to only have a Saturday evening session of conference. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And so yeah, I've already been telling you over and over again, Christians will not acknowledge their origins, just like Mormons will not acknowledge their origins. Visions, not literal history. Because when you turn it literal history, there are problems that people point out. And so no, there were no Christians during the time of Christ. Because there was no Christ. We're referred to as the cult of the Nazarene. No, they weren't. Because, let's see if I can avoid getting cyber attacked by being on the internet. Google's bullying me. I haven't stopped. I filed my complaint against YouTube, and Google has been bullying me ever since. They protect each other. Helaman chapter 6. Cult originates with the Latin. That's all that is, the Roman period time. From the French culte, or the Latin cultus, means worship. From cult, inhabited, cultivated, worshipped. And so it has changed, because that's the original meaning of a cult group: devoting homage paid to a divinity. What's wrong with that? Oops, sorry, X-Phone never mows. And so what we really are looking for is, why is cult a negative word in popular use? Somebody changed the meaning. The term cult has accumulated a strong negative connotation and is often used to cast aspersions on a religious group's validity as a form of religious practice. Bullying tactic 101. How did I know that would apply to the theme of the video? And so, yes, he does not know how to translate Latin. I am a member. And so, yeah, there was a religion in Nazarene called the Therapeutae. But I'd have to go and talk about the Therapeutae here. Or you can read Dorothy Murdoch. She was all about that. I am a member, and I know it's true. You just lied to me. You are a denialist about the church not being a religious organization that worships deity. Then you lied to me which technically is an occult, speaking to the dead, looking at crystal balls, is witchcraft. And then you lie to me about the origin of Christianity. And then you lie to me with your ignorance of Latin. And now you're saying you know the Church of Jesus Christ is true? Nothing you have said convinces me you're telling me the truth. You have no fruit that proves you are true. It's all spoiled, rotten, corrupt fruit. And have validation of his truthfulness. This is the best Mormons have to offer. What it means to be Mormon. You make it too easy for me. Dear God. And no, it's the church is true. So yeah, he is English is his second language. It's not just a problem on a cell phone. Mistyping. Please put effort to find if it's true. Bleep you. Now he's trying to cause me to embrace misinformation and disinformation practices. He's telling me to pray and get the right feeling for validation. He's telling me to deny logical Socratic methodology for scientific research and development to have tested for confirmation of truth. Right from the Scriptures. You become responsible to God for preaching errors. Now he's calling me a liar. Bullying 101. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, this was the guy on the Book of Abraham. Original 10 Commandments found. Proves LDS Church is Sabbath true. Yeah, right, like the Book of Abraham is authentic. Yeah, it is. It came from papyrus. It's been debunked by many scholars. The scholars are all wrong. Let's see, that's my comment to Idaho Chick, explaining my Fruit Loop from Hell song. I never got a response from you on that one. Yeah, that's a comment reply to Child Faith, which he still commented with confusion. Abinadi is just a prophecy story. You're supposed to take the latter-day characters prophesied about and replace them with the story characters. Abinadi is the Christ. King Noah is Nelson. His 12 priests are the 12 apostles. Now, what do we do with the 2 counselors? It's real simple. And then you have Mike Jesus, who on the 10 Commandments says the LDS Church is completely made up. Now that's the Sabbath truth. So is Christianity. I don't understand what you're talking about. Okay, so yeah, we got those taken care of. So, I mean, seriously, if you knew in advance that a natural disaster was coming, whether it be a hurricane, tornado, even earthquake for some reason, if we could figure out in advance the coming of an earthquake or meteor showers that were going to hit the earth, if you knew that it was coming and it was going to destroy your life, your home, your family, your possessions in advance, what are you going to do? You hear the lion roaring from Amos 3:7 or 3:8. What are you going to do? Mormons are refusing to believe the roar and think that they're blessed when disaster happens. They let come what may, They put it in God's hands. If God wants me to die in this massive destruction, then I'm going to die. Really? You don't recall anything about be prepared, heed the warning voice? I mean, there's even the voice of warning that Bruce R. McConkie and Benson put out. God. And so, yes, what are you doing about the threat to our nation? Remember, life, liberty, and property. The United States of America cooed the government here of the Brits. A terrorist act against King George, and created a constitution of a constitutional republican form of government. Not a democracy, not communism, not fascism, a constitutional republic, so that everybody who's an American citizen gets equal treatment for life, liberty, and property. And we don't have that, do we? We see and experience the threat to our government getting cooed in real time. You know the dangers. Yes, we will tie it to the church. Hold on. We're only 40 minutes in. I'm not doing these in an order. So, remember when I told you about how it is suspicious of all of the Secret Service failing Trump? That it was suspicious that at the RNC, after getting shot, he's got WWE people, which, if you know, Trump was also in the WWE. He had some shows that he was in. The WWE is for entertainment. It is not two people beating the hell out of each other like a UFC fight. It's scripted. They have techniques to avoid hurting people. But it looks real, except when you see the pulled punches. When you don't see the red marks on their bodies, their naked bodies. That's the real porn, not women. And that they use blood capsules to fake being cut. And then Trump was upset with his medical doctor and fired him. And got, is it Ronnie Jackson? The one he had as president after firing others. And Ronnie Jackson said he's a perfect alpha specimen. The bullet went clear through the air. Remember? A whole certified official letter that Trump wanted to have said. And so now they called for the Secret Service director to be fired. She resigned Tuesday, I think it was, after her hearing on Monday. Too much bullying, and she's gone. Nobody's investigating the connection between the shooter and the one that was actually assassinated, the firefighter. They're only trying to investigate the connection between the shooter and Trump. They're trying to find a motive. Why would he try to shoot Trump? Well, why did he shoot the firefighter? Nobody cares. They're trying to create a motive. They're ignoring facts. Again. And so, Director Wray of the FBI had a hearing before Congress yesterday. And, uh-oh. Uh-oh. He says Trump was not shot by a bullet. Oh no. Oops. And he's not coming right out and saying he's speculating to divert away from what he just said. It could have been shrapnel. Uh-oh. Hilarious. You gotta pay attention to the misinformation that goes on. Because with the modern technologies we have, we can do deep fakes and photoshops and all kinds of deceptive things. You've got to pay attention, especially to a showman who wants attention. Too many people were talking about Biden's failure as president. It's all about Trump. Get away from Biden. It's about me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm over here. Look at me. We know this. He's done it all the time. It's always got to be about him. Always in the news, whether good or bad, it's got to be him. God. Nobody's investigating this. Also, yesterday, Netanyahu came to Congress. He's been having difficulty getting funding from Biden. Biden is working with the terrorists because that's his base. And so, yes, the terrorists were out in full force attacking the Capitol. Biden still would not invoke the Insurrection Act to lock them all up. And even the ones that were in Congress protesting. She needs to be locked up, as the one was highlighted. I think the others refused to show. And MSNBC generally lost me, because video after video after video after video was to bash Netanyahu. It was a political stunt. Yeah, he's a political leader. He needs American funding. America's not giving it to him. That's why he's here. And yet they're purposely twisting it to take the word and go off on a tangent. To be a misinformer and a disinformer as the press. Fox got it right. They knew to blame Biden for not funding Netanyahu. And so Netanyahu knows this. Knows that Trump gave Netanyahu support when Trump was in office because of Jared. Which technically wasn't because of Jared, it's because of his daughter. If it was just Jared, no, who cares? He's an anti-Semite. He's not going to help the Jews. It's because of his daughter. That's it, that's all. But Netanyahu knows this. He knows how to get the money. And so, yes, he says he supports Trump. Trump would have given it to him. Yeah, because of his daughter. Netanyahu better hope that Trump's daughter doesn't get a divorce. Because that tie will be broken otherwise. And so MSNBC have not fired the anti-Semites that were exposed on October 7th. Who is the cause for the war? The answer is only Hamas. Who's the cause of the kidnapping and holding hostages? Only Hamas. Who's the cause of the deaths of the Gazans? Answer is only Hamas. Who's the cause of the starvation of the kids who don't have the parents? There's only one answer. The cause is Hamas. Do not stray from the causation word. The seed is October 7th. Now, yes, people have tried and quickly realized they would lose by trying to go previously. You can't. Because once you go down that road, you gotta go to the origins of both. And oops, the Jews win every single time. You can't just go back to a certain period of history and claim that that's the cause. If you're going to go back in history, you got to go all the way. And so, yes, this cause is October 7th. Hamas. And so anyone who are not acknowledging and in denial of Hamas as the cause are supporting Hamas. You are supporting terrorism. Thus, all the so-called civilians are supporting Hamas. Because Israel allowed any innocent people who don't want to be involved against Israel to leave. Because Hamas hides behind the women and children, the injured and wounded and refugees. And so, if you are not a terrorist, you need to leave, because they have had it. October 7th was devastating, and it's never going to stop. They're bullies as terrorists. Israel is making their stand and defending their existence. And yet, the UN supports terrorism. Aid groups support terrorism. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints supports terrorism. They even financially funded it. And so, yeah, this is ugly. And I told you, Biden's not going to invoke the Insurrection Act. He didn't do it for MAGA. He's not doing it for the progressives of Islam. He is letting America get destroyed. And so, yes, bullying 101. Fox News is now calling for Biden's resignation to allow Kamala Harris to be the president so that there will be no vice president on January 6th as a backup so that the Speaker of the House can decertify the election if Kamala wins, if there is no civil war, no bloodbath, as they've been threatening. Bullying 101. Wow, almost an hour. It's not being tampered with. Cool. Another interesting bullying tactic that the Dems are getting suckered into. J.D. Vance had a speech where he talked about the childless deep state Dems. And the Dems are taking it personally as if it's a direct attack on Harris because he's also trashing Harris. And yeah, Harris is also childless. Just like Oakes and his wife. They're childless. His first wife, he had kids. But nonetheless, no. J.D. Vance was also pulling an attack on LGBTQIAPO+. Remember that whole science thing? Remember from the scriptures, the science thing? Seed produces fruit. Well, it requires that the seed be placed into the womb of a woman to produce the fruit. You can't put a seed on the wayside. You can't put the seed into something that's not a womb. You ain't gonna produce a baby. It ain't gonna happen. You can do a test tube baby, they work. They have different shaped heads though. See mine, I'm not sure, yeah, you can sort of see the line here. That's from the tongs to pull my head out when I was born. And so you can tell a preemie baby who's born through a C-section. It's blatantly obvious from the cranial structure of their head. And those who had a toilet plunger, those have the cone heads from SNL. Or was that the movie? Or both. I can't remember. I just remember seeing cone heads in my vision. And so, yes, what are Republicans pushing? Which they're not, it's MAGA. There is no such thing as a Republican anymore. They're gone. GOP, MAGA are gone. And it shouldn't have been called the RNC. It should have been the MNC, the MAGA National Convention. They're purposely deceiving people on this to let people believe that Republicans still exist. It's MAGA. I'm surprised that Trump's not upset with this. And so, yeah, the LGBTQIAPO+, they got fooled. And MAGA is exploiting this. Because I warned you. MAGA are anti-science to destroy all fields of science and replace it with Christianity. Deep state Dems are denying science in order to cater to the base. They are supporting terrorism to cater to the base. And so, yeah, it's the bullying racism is different. It's a different morality, whether you're conservative or liberal. Because the conservative racism is blatant, in your face, violent, threatening. The democratic racial behavior is more deceptive, more psychologically manipulating. Psychology does not use truth from science. They use speculation, opinion, beliefs, feelings of fallacy. Therefore, they are not true. They are bullies. Their clients are cash cows. They are abusing their clients. And it's sad that our government has given them doctor-patient confidentiality so that nobody can find out that they're abusing their clients, other than the results. But the doctor then says, I tried to help him. Well, we now see your results, and here in Utah, they're getting thrown in prison. Jody Hildebrandt. We saw her results on 8 passengers, and they're both in prison now. We've seen other examples here in Utah of psychology abusing people and getting caught and busted. The rest of the nation know better than to get caught and busted. But here in Utah, there's competition with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' Family Services. Bullying 101. And so, yeah, there's all the different name callings I've been going over with you. I added more since yesterday. Let's see. Loopy and Disturbed was the new ones that I added live on air. And then, did I have attitude problem? Politically incorrect? But I'm reading over them for you. But then I also added after the video, blonde and Karen. Because in the 80s, if you were called a blonde, you were being bullied with psychological manipulation. Psychologists were going on a tear against women and helping companies cater their advertising campaign to bully women, to tell women they're ugly, they need to use their makeup and cover up and hide. They need to wear their stuff to cover up and hide. They need to get a tan to cover up and hide, to be ashamed of their bodies. Attacks on Barbie dolls were being made. It's not a real portrayal for little girls. They know that. Little girls are smarter than you think. But if you keep bullying them, yeah, they become anorexic or fat or depressed, thus become cash cows for psychologists. That's psychological bullying 101. To cause the problem through bullying and then claim that they can help through your problem. It's disgusting. So, I'll finish with the church. So as I already went over with you from the comments, those are the most recent bullying attacks, and the one involved the common practice that had been done by many a Mormon, not understanding that they just amend their priesthood on me when they pull that kind of a stunt. You are making a false accusation against a righteous man. Yeah. I studied, you didn't. I was 100% attender. You aren't. I went to the temple every day for many years. You didn't. I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, showed that Joseph Smith is a translator. You didn't. So again, to call me an apostate, anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, Korahor, wicked sinner is you. It's called projecting in real life. The scriptures call it a beam and a mote. You're a false accuser. That is a bullying tactic. The whole Sermon on the Mount is Jesus telling the people how to confront bullies. And see how Christians botch that? Not just calling Jesus real. He's teaching people how to take people to court who are bullying them. That's what turn the other cheek is all about. Let them draw first blood, and then you got them. Take them to court and sue them. And so in our society, our courts have been sabotaged. They've been cooed. People cannot get justice for life, liberty, and property abused and taken. You do not see that the lion is roaring right in your face. You are in denial. You have been psychologically brainwashed with religious cult Kool-Aid. Because of your illiteracy, because of your lack of knowledge, and so that is the basic pattern of bullying. They lie using fallacy arguments, ad hominem attacks. That's bullying, name calling. And so that's this pattern that's throughout all bullying behavior, whether it's liberals, Democrats, psychologists, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or Christianity, or Islam. It's all the same pattern. They name call. You're a heathen, you're an apostate, you're an anti-Mormon, you're an antichrist, you're a Korahor. You stopped reading your scriptures, you weren't praying enough, you didn't get the right feelings. You weren't going to church, you weren't paying your tithing, you weren't wearing your underwear. All of that is bullying caused by the church to incite Mormons to bully. It's Lucifer's plan of happiness. You all know it, and you're doing it. So that which you do reveals who you follow. You follow Lucifer. Own it. If you don't want to follow Lucifer, if you want to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, stop following Lucifer. Hello? Quit being a dumbass. And so this bullying is repeated over and over and over and over and over again. And so yes, when I get breakout videos, like I did, I get new viewers because YouTube's been hiding them from me, or hiding me from them, and all of a sudden they found me. After all these years, they finally found me because of YouTube's bullying. And sure enough, they don't bother to find out more about me. They don't read recently in the description below where I put prerequisite videos and then a link. Did you not go to school? Did you not read the prerequisites for a certain class? I ignored them too, but still, I saw them. And maybe you take it for granted. Maybe you think you know it all. I can guarantee you don't. Let's give you a little pop quiz to see if you know it all. What religion is the Book of Mormon? Yeah, those who've been following me know, and they're going, yeah, I know that answer. If you hadn't caught on, it had to do with that Christian channel talking about a Jew. And so yes, you are automatically anti-Semites. By claiming that you're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you are automatically, just like a Christian, declaring you're an anti-Semite. You hate the Jews. And so your friendship with your token Jewish friend is a lie. You are trying to convince him, like Kamala Harris to her Jewish husband, to join her beliefs and abandon the Jewish beliefs. Because Kamala is an anti-Semite. She should have gone to listen to Netanyahu. She deliberately chose not to. She's an anti-Semite. She knows he's there to try to get financial aid from America. That's what he does. And she supports terrorism. She is soft on crime on her record as a prosecutor, doesn't want to do the death penalty, will not invoke the Insurrection Act, is an anti-Semite, and supports terrorism. Those are the facts. And everybody's all excited. Yay, America's saved. We no longer have to worry and fear of MAGA and Trump. Yeah, all their talk about bloodbath. Nah, we've got Kamala now. A prosecutor versus a convicted felon. Yeah, no bloodbath. All is well in America. Nothing to see here. Move along. We've fixed America's problems. Good luck with that. Bullying behavior 101. Purposely leading you as lambs to the slaughter. So you're either going to deny repeatedly that you are the name calling that they tell you you are, for which they'll just keep doing it, keep threatening to take your money, to make you a cash cow for them. Or if you cave in and accept that the name calling is true, then they go, aha, see, we knew it. And they escalate. Because now you've confirmed it. You are the sensitive snowflake that they were calling you. You've now validated their feelings. And so now they're justified in treating you accordingly. Because you fell for it. You broke. They broke you. This is a similar thing that people do to prisoners. Here in Utah even, the jails. You get arrested, thrown into the Salt Lake county jail. And if you're poor, you can't afford a lawyer. And so they take advantage of you. You're stuck in jail. You've not been convicted of a crime, and already you're being punished as if you're guilty. Because you're not supposed to have cruel and unusual punishments if they were following the Constitution. Oh, but it's a private company running the prison, the jail? Oh. Well, that means that they are purposely arresting people to be cash cows, just like a psychologist, and that they are bullying people to admit that they're criminals, rather than going through the court process called due process. And Utah is even more evil because they have a drug court and a psycho court, both of which are based on fallacies. If you're a druggie, you've got brain damage. If you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you're not. You've been lied to by a psychologist to be a cash cow for them. And the government is facilitating cash cows. Cash cowism. Cash cow economics. Cash cow economics. I like that. And so, yeah, oftentimes they'll incite the mob, as you saw there. The one guy was going to other people to tell him against me. I've seen that way too many times. People comment to other people on my channel. This guy is lying. I know the church is true. Follow me and you'll never go hungry again. That's incitement of the mob. And the church does it well. And psychologists prey on Mormons who leave and do it well. You can't get suckered. You gotta get your own knowledge of things. This is a follow-up of the faith crisis caused by living on borrowed light. And so, yeah, then they commit crime against you, escalating the crime and the incitement to mob against you. They'll tell their other friends so that they bully you too, so that the bully is not alone. He's working well with others in a team effort and committing crimes against you, not just making you a cash cow for them, but once you accept that you are who you are, then they actually now violently attack you, when as before they were threatening to hurt you, and as long as you kept paying them, you wouldn't get physically hurt, just threatened. But once you accept that you are, then yeah, they take your money because you're their cash cow now. In prison, it's called a female dog. And they then begin to physically abuse you because you've now accepted who you are. Just like the psychologist will physically abuse somebody who accepts who they are from the bullying of the psychologist with drugs. If you accept that you are depressed because the church had bullied you, you go to family services and they say, oh, the church isn't bullying you, you're depressed. Then they prescribe depression drugs. And the depression drug shortens your lifespan. They're now physically hurting you because the church was bullying you. And rather than accepting that you are the problem, and went to psychologists and they said, yeah, you're the problem. and you accepted that you are the problem. They diverted you away from the causation of the church's bullying, and now you're on drugs, getting physically harmed. And it's all doctor-client confidentiality. All covered up and hidden. And so, yeah, the shortened lifespan, that's just the natural consequences of your problem. You're to blame. Victim blaming. 101. So Amos 3:7. The church is bullying you. They're bullying the government. Project 2025 originates from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through the Council for National Policy. America is getting destroyed. The church holding you in bondage. Even if you've left the church, you still believe some of the lies the church has been telling you. Was it Brigham or Joseph who started polygamy? Exactly. You've been lied to by the Brighamite Church. Bullying 101. Purposely bullying with what they are the causation of. And thus the punishment needs to be on the bully. But the bully is punishing the victim for what the bully needs to be punished for. That's what the church does to you. When you leave the church, you are being further escalated in abuse because you accepted that you're an anti-Mormon, that you're an ex-Mormon, that you're an apostate. I see it with Mormons who are abused. Yeah, I'm a sinner. I'm wicked. I drank Mountain Dew. Oh, I'm bad. God's going to smite me down. I am not as worthy as the prophets who see God face to face in the Holy of Holies until the Salt Lake Temple had to be under construction. So, wait a minute. They've not been able to see Jesus in the Holy of Holies this whole time. So Nelson has not been getting information from Jesus as to what to do and how to run the church. So in 2019, Nelson changed the temple text. Law of chastity. Nelson's not authorized to do that. He wasn't authorized from the beginning. Remember, no authority. Brigham Young stole Joseph's church and changed it. Amen. It's kicking the prick. See how it works? Knowledge exposes the dumbass.